go to the calls today from Peter Dutton, wanting to see moral courage and clarity in unequivocally condemning anti-Semitism in Australia. Now, I suspect in part he's pointing at attempts by some in the media and Labor to create some sort of moral equivalence between anti-Semitism, which is rife, and the almost non-existence of Islamophobia. You and others have called the moment that we're living through right now as a civilisational moment. What do you mean by that?
There's a real crisis of self-confidence in countries such as ours. The Anglosphere, which has done so much to lead the world into a better place, is plagued by this self-doubt. And this is why so many people in countries like Australia seem to prefer Hamas, a terrorist death cult, to a liberal democracy such as Israel, which always does its best to try to ensure human decency is recognised and protected. And I think that that night, October the 9th, when you had hundreds of Australians chanting, I shrink even from mentioning what they were chanting, but this was just a shameful moment, an absolutely shameful moment, and a moment of unutterable shame. And we should be doing everything we humanly can to redeem ourselves by making it absolutely crystal clear that in this existential struggle between the Hamas death cult and the only liberal democracy in the Middle East, Israel, we are unequivocally on Israel's side. No ifs, no buts, no false equivalence, no phony invocation of Islamophobia, along with the rampant anti-Semitism that we've seen on our streets and the streets of other Western cities. We are on Israel's side in this struggle.
I've got to ask you about the news late this afternoon. The government has granted over 840 visas to Palestinians. Given what we've seen in recent weeks regarding the Home Affairs Department and the ministers, do you think they're up to the security checks needed before these people land in Australia?
Look, I saw the Foreign Minister assuring people just a few moments ago that all the security checks had been done. But as far as I'm aware, there are no Australian officials whatsoever in Gaza. None. So I just wonder how this could possibly be correct. Who did these security checks? How extensive and how thorough were they, particularly given the polling that we've seen, suggesting that something like 70% of the population of Gaza believed that the October 7 atrocities were entirely justified. Well, we don't want to be importing trouble into our country, and I just hope that the government has been a lot clearer and a lot more thorough about this than it has been on quite a few other things just in the last few weeks.
All right, I've got to leave it there. We've got our latest podcast episode out tomorrow, the last for the year. There's a bit of hope in there, though, for those who are worried about where the world's headed and whether we're just managing our decline. I'll leave it there. Thank you for your time, as always. Tony Abbott.